Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Bronze Breakdown Podcast. Today's episode title, Chaos is a Ladder in Season 16 of League of Legends. I am your host, Equinox, and here's my co-host, War Turtle. War Turtle, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good.
So, today we are going to be talking about patch 25.6, I believe, as well as how the last month or so of rank grind has been doing for the both of us. And I just figured that we can start with our title, Chaos is a Ladder, and we want to explain that a little bit. So we got the quote from, where did it go in my note? I'm sorry. I wrote it down, that's why. We are going to start with the clip on what, actually, hang on, we can show the clip in a second. So what's going on? What's new with you, War Turtle? What's new with your rank grind and stuff? How's everything been?
It's been going pretty good. I have been able to figure out what champs to pick. I'm a Jinx OTP, but Jinx has been taken from me in many occasions recently. So I've been needing to improvise and see what else I'm gonna play. And since I'm like an open book, because I'm an OTP, right? I get to choose exactly. Like I get to mess with different champs. So I've messed with Misfortune, which I have played in the past, and we've had pretty good success with Misfortune.
Yeah, Misfortune's
I
really
feel like
strong.
Misfortune ties into a lot of different compositions. And I play with Caitlyn, and I don't know. I think Caitlyn's pretty cool, but I really am liking Misfortune at the moment. So that's what's new with me. What about with you, Rexus?
I am also enjoying balancing my champion pool currently. So like Volibear still playing an absolute like ton of games on Volibear. I have 100 games now in ranked for the season officially on him. I have 101 games played of Volibear with a 61% win rate on him, which is pretty awesome. And I'm still flirting with some other champions, but I'm not really doing too well on them. So I lost a game on Lee Sin recently, and I also haven't really been playing that much Warwick or Viego, which were the other I would consider like the big three. Those were the other two champs I was playing, and I haven't really picked them up as much recently. So I'm hoping to play other champions while also maintaining that Volibear grind. You know what I'm saying? How's like work-life balance? Would you say you've been doing okay balancing like your ranked grind with your full-time job and your school and shit, or full-time school and your part-time job?
You know what? I think that's really good that you brought up because I feel like if you really seriously want to rank up in League, you have to put in time and effort into it. And as a full-time student, part-time worker, I think it's possible, but you really need to work on time management, which is something that is very hard for many of us, especially
Yeah,
when there's so much stuff to do.
and I'd love to like add on to that and say that like as someone who is in that grind for the season, 100 plus games so far, I do think it's very important that although I am a streamer full time and I get to write my own rules and stuff, it is important to have time management and know when you should be going to bed so that you can get up and do it all over again tomorrow, or you will be at risk of messing up your tempo, which is something we talk a lot about in our ring games. It's kind of funny to think about tempo in life, you know what I mean? And being able to go to bed at a decent time so that you can get up and not be tired at work so that when you get out of work you can play a 3 block, you know what I mean? So that's pretty
But it's
beautiful.
very important, though. Very important. I feel like in general, if you don't put in the time or the effort, and you like, let's say you don't put in the time, you're not going to be able to learn. And if you don't put in the effort, you're just going to be autopiloting at
You
that
have
point.
to, yeah, you have to play when you're at your best, which is hard for everyone to admit that. Like you're never gonna be at your very best when you play, but it is important to play when you are in a mental state that is not going to deter you from winning. Does that make sense? So whether if it's too tired at work or you're on a hot losing streak, like sometimes it's better to walk away before you do any more damage, or vice versa. Like you can't just play one game win and call it a night. Like if you're willing to commit a little bit of time, you might as well commit like at least I'd say a 3 block, because that's the only way you're going to be able to look at your games and say, okay, like what were the similarities across the 3 games that I played, not just that 1 block that I ran, because those 1 blocks could be a one-off. You know what I mean? You might look back at your 3 block and go, okay, I got carried in one of these games, and the enemy team is really bad in the second game, but in the third game I was still very consistent, and I was the reason why we won. Like, you're not going to always get that data from a 1 block, so sometimes it's better to play 3, and sometimes it's better to just commit like a little bit of time. You know what I mean? Or at least have a duo partner that you are familiar playing with. Like, that's what my recommendation would be to the people watching this podcast, is that if you do not have a lot of time on your hands to play ranked, have a committed duo partner, because that consistency will carry over every time you mic up with them.
It's almost like a workout buddy, you know?
Mm-hmm. You need someone
Like
to
that.
spot you and call you on your, hey buddy, I think you can't be. I don't think you should be bench pressing extra weight this week.
I
Like,
love that reference. Yeah, that's perfect. You know,
you want to
need
go
someone
to
to
fail.
spot you.
You need someone to
You
spot
want to
you.
go to failure. Yeah, hell yeah.
You want to be able to go till failure, and you want to be able to have that person have your back. You want that person to be able to text you on that rainy Monday morning when you don't want to get up and get in your car at 7 in the morning and be like, hey, nah, dude, we're gonna go do fucking legs. Like, let's go do it. Like, get up, bro. Put your shorts on.
Quote unquote. It's time to
You hear
pick
that?
up the boat.
You hear that? I hear the blender. It's grinding up the protein powder as we speak, bro. We got somewhere to be. I threw some bananas in there. We're gonna get a good workout.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so something that we are. Hang on a second. Okay, so we are done with what's new with you and I. I'd like to move on to our title, and to help explain a little bit better to the chat, we are going to show you guys a clip from the hit TV show Game of Thrones, and how we kind of this is what blossomed the concept for today's episode, and that chaos is a ladder. And after we show you the clip, we'll show you how it applies in our lanes and in League of Legends as a greater whole. So enjoy this clip, okay, guys? I'm gonna pause this. We're gonna open this. We're gonna click this, and we're gonna click this.
I did what I did for the good of the realm. The realm. Do you know what the realm is? It's the 1,000 blades of Aegon's enemies. A story we agreed to tell each other over and over till we forget that it's a lie. But what do we have left once we abandon the lie? Chaos. A gaping pit waiting to swallow us all. Chaos isn't a pit. Chaos is a ladder.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Bars.
So, War Turtle, if you would like to tell us, how is chaos a ladder for ADC?
Hell yeah.
Or maybe we could
Well-
start in general too. How is
Yeah,
chaos
in
a ladder
general.
in League of Legends, and then we'll explain via our rules. So
Okay.
go ahead.
So chaos is a ladder. So in order to use chaos as a ladder into League of Legends and turn it into a concept, we have to understand what exactly that means, right? So pretty much, and just if you never have watched like Game of Thrones, right? Littlefinger is the guy that was saying the quote "chaos is a ladder," and what he was meaning, what he meant when he was saying that to the other character, is that you have to create chaos around you so you can be able to climb out on top, almost like coming out with the ashes. What is that quote? Do you know that quote?
Like a
So I don't
phoenix
mean to
rising
put you
from
on
the
spot.
ashes.
Exactly.
Like a
Hey,
phoenix
there you
rising
go.
from the ashes. You have to,
Yeah.
and that's a really important thing. I think you and I talk about. We're gonna talk a lot about how to create chaos, but I think it's almost, and if not more important, to know how to benefit from someone else's chaos. You know, and that's like looking at your laner. Your laner, you haven't ganked him all, but he is fighting constantly. Sometimes it might just be the play to group up with him and beat the fuck out of his laner together. Because if you can do that, you can, play off the chaos. Like,
Yep.
we do it oftentimes in jungle when we have to deal with someone taking dragon. it's very, very good to cause chaos around the pit, whether it's with vision cones or using red wards to create bush Wookie tactics or trying to bait out someone's skill shot or summoner spell or alt. Those are like the best ways to go before you actually take said dragon. But War Turtle, please go ahead. I want you to tell us about
So
what you're
let's
going to
break
say.
it down
Good.
more.
Yep.
Yeah. So pretty much, when you're playing your rank games and you're low elo, you need to cause chaos for your enemy team and take advantage of them trying to stabilize that chaos. Okay? Get them to stagger their deaths. That's more of a late game concept, right? Or like the get them to stagger their deaths is more like a late game event, right? Or activity, I guess you can say. But pretty much get them desperate enough that they want to tower dive you to get your bounty or whatever, right? Or they want to be more aggressive to catch back up, or it's just so chaotic that they're just trying to play safe now, which isn't necessarily good, you know, for them, depending on the champ, right? But in most scenarios, it's not good to play safe, right? And basically, when it comes to the staggering death thing, just finishing that up, pretty much what you want them to do is have them come at you 3v1, 4v2, 5v3, you know, like I'm pretty sure everyone has seen that when everybody walks in one by one and starts dying to the enemy team and you're just like, my team, like what's going on? Like they're using that concept, but we have to use that concept in our own games, just how they use it. So pretty much you have to group if you can after you clear up your priorities, right? So priorities being as a laner, you have to push your lane, you know, before you rotate. Push, and if you see there's a fight about to happen, if it's like if your wave is gonna freeze, then maybe you can go, but you have to focus your priorities first. But you have to know how to manage that, which can be kind of hard, but you know you have to take advantage of that.
Something
So,
that I wanted to.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was pretty much it.
Okay.
You have to create that chaos pretty much for them.
Mm-hmm. Something I was gonna say was that champion mastery really equals knowing your limits so that you can be playing aggressively. And what I mean by that is like something that we use in League of Legends all the time is the word bait. And I think that the better you are at mastering your champion, the more you can be a master baiter. And let me explain. So War Turtle was saying, like, you know, 1v3. There have been times where there are 3 people stepped up to you, but you don't always walk away, do you? Because you know the limits of your character, i.e. Jinx or whatever, and knowing that, you know, you can sidestep this or walk away with W or walk away with E. You still have Flash. Whatever it may be, you know the limits to your champion. Just like with Volibear, I know, you know, I can stick in this fight a little longer because of W or E or whatever it may be. So baiting the enemy opponents into thinking that you're too weak to save yourself in a fight and turning the fight around, or even just mid-team fight, is the best way to fucking outplay your opponents. I'm telling you. Is if you can bait them into being like, oh no, look at me, I'm wicked injured. And then they get a little too close and you go, boom, I tricked you, bro. Because you don't know shit about my champion. And that's
Yep.
like champion mastery equals your ability to bait, which equals your ability to cause chaos. So I really, really think one tricking, something that you've been doing this month and something I've been doing this month, has helped our climb significantly. Last month we told you
Definitely.
guys that we hit gold 4. It has been a month and we are peaked almost gold 2 now. So hopefully by the end of this month we will be on our way to plat and we can continue the climb from there. So this is the first
Hell
time
yeah.
I myself have ever been in this elo. So I'm very happy to be here and grinding, and I'm probably gonna put 500 ranked games in this season. It's awesome. I'm excited.
Hell yeah. But to move on now, to move on to the next concept that we wanted to bring up, pretty much, bear with us. Rex and I are going to give you a plot twist. Okay? Pretty much, we had brought up the concept of chaos as a ladder, ensuing, like causing chaos for your team, for your enemy team, so you can take advantage of that and get pretty much like a snowball effect going on for your team, right? But in reality, the next concept is going to kick in when you try to do the chaos as a ladder, which is the concept of laws of equivalent exchange. So pretty much the game is always going to try to stabilize itself and give the enemy team, or quote unquote the losing team, an opportunity to catch back up. And you've seen it all the time. Teams throw all the time. And so pretty much to avoid this homeostasis, if we may,
Ooh,
you
big boy
have
word.
to keep adding pressure to the enemy team, and you have to know that you're always going to be giving something up. Okay? You have to be deciding what you're giving up, though. Because if chaos is a ladder is being thrown onto you, you're going to be losing turrets, you're going to be losing jungle camps, you're just going to be losing everything, you know? So we have to,
You got to
as
min
they
max your
gain
gains.
bounties. Exactly. So pretty much, in an overall standpoint, like laws of equivalent exchange, we can talk about like, okay, you're in lane, you're trading HPs, right? When you trade, or let's say someone's gonna hit your enemy's gonna hit the farm, you get to poke them, or you're gonna get the farm, they get to poke you, et cetera, right? But let's say someone gets fed, right? And we've seen it plenty of times. We suffered through this many of times. Pretty much, let's say your team is fed, you get bounties on you, right? So that means you have to play safer than before, but as aggressive, so you continue the snowball and you don't just fade away and let the enemy team catch up. Because if you play too aggressive, you're going to end up giving your shutdown, and that person will be stronger to be taking other shutdowns from other people in your teams. So that's exactly what happened the other day. We were playing.
The game kind of points you in the direction of where you're supposed to be
Yeah,
going almost at all times. If you look at
yeah,
your mini map as a jungler and you see that your camps are spawning in 20 seconds in your bot lane, you want to reset and head to your topside camps. Do you see that the ADC has a $700 gold bounty and it's 15 minutes? You need to be you at that point, right? The law of equivalent exchange. You can give those top lane camps and stay bot lane and secure the $1,000 shutdown, and it is going to be worth way more than your fucking 3 camps are going to be. Because say you give it to your ADC, now your ADC's back in the game, or if you get it, you can transition that lead elsewhere, whether it's beating a jungler in the fight because you're up an item, or securing dragons, which are going to buff the entire team later on anyways. There's oftentimes more and better things to be doing on the bot side of the map than there are the top side. Grubs are weaker right now because every tower has plates. I never fucking see people at Rift Herald. I swear to God, I'm the only person that takes Rift Herald. Like, I never ever have to contest or have a major fight at Rift Herald, bro. Bot lane is like where it's happening at all times. Something that I didn't get to talk about that I want to mention real quick was how to build chaos as a jungler. So Wartortle talked about how to do it on AC. I want to teach you guys how to do it as a jungler. And the way it works is you want to basically, so I'm going to kind of tie this in, but the best way to cause chaos as a jungler is to understand that your tempo is your currency in this game. So if you have all 6 of your camps up at the beginning of the game, right, you shouldn't be 3 camp clearing, backing, trying to get an item, rushing to your bot side camps, take your camps, and then get this. You're not going to get the scuttle in time. Not in this elo, not at the speed that we're going. It's a lot better to full clear 6 camps and then use that time left over to take a scuttle, gank, ward a dragon and ward the enemy jungle, reset. Those are your 4 options. I really don't think there's many other options you should be doing as a jungler. And oftentimes, I saw this in a video and I thought it was really interesting. I don't remember if it was skill capped or what. But they mentioned that when you kill your laner in mid and the wave is neutral, you only have about 4 seconds of pushing before you have 12 seconds, right, of them getting to lane in time. Like, they're going to reset after dying once, and they're going to come back to lane within 12 seconds. It takes you 8 seconds to back, which means you only have like 4 seconds to fucking do anything. And so I've kind of had that window in my head when I'm jungling, and it's like, okay, did my laner just show here? I'm immediately going to go elsewhere and remind myself it takes like roughly 17 to 20 seconds to even cross the map. He's not going to be able to stop me at his red buff, or not going to be able to stop me at these grubs or this dragon or this gank or whatever it may be. I've really just been trying to focus on champion mastery, objective control, gank timing, and clear speed. You can't do all 4 of those things perfectly every game, I think it's best to spend like a couple of 3 blocks or a week at a time focusing on one thing at a time. Champion mastery is something that you can do passively, so I think everybody should be doing it. Just one trick a champion, and instead of worrying about, oh, I need to swap this champion because of this champion matchup, play out the matchup. You might surprise yourself that you can beat somebody that was playing your counter. I've been beating Jax's and Briar's and Graves all week long on Volibear, and those
at
are
the same
his
time.
biggest fucking counters, bro. So it goes to show that, like, although someone has counterpicked you, it does not mean it guarantees them a win. It only really guarantees them a win if they have a much higher champion mastery than you do. Sure, it's going to be a little bit of a champion ability diff, but you can still win those diffs. So don't just immediately swap your champ away. I would maintain champion mastery so that you can focus on other things like objective control, gank timing, and clear speed. Clear speed's the biggest thing I've been working on this week, as well as itemization. So if you want
Would
to
this
cause
be? Sorry, go ahead. You can finish what you're saying.
I was going to say, with all those tools, like, to apply it and to cause chaos as a jungler, you just need to, like, full clear so that you have all the tempo in the world to do the things you want to do. Because I think if you are 3 camp clearing, you're going to mess yourself up. Like, I wouldn't do that. I would directly advise against what some of the big videos were saying recently, because I just don't think it applies to this elo yet. That, or I don't have the movement speed for it.
Would you consider all that to focus on? So you're saying like focus on your micro, pretty much, right? But are you essentially saying like we should focus on our micro so you can then rely on your own micro to focus on the macro? Is that what you're saying?
Kind of. So micro is really all the brain power you can apply when you're in game. I think macros should be something that's almost like intuition based. You know what I mean? Like, you should automatically know that if you kill the jungler bot side and dragon's up and you're like 2 feet from dragon, you should be taking dragon. You know what I mean? If it's past the first like 5-10 minutes of the game, or like if it's like 7 to 10 minutes, that means the jungler's not going to respawn as fast. I've noticed that if you kill them bot lane, you cannot just take what you want right away anymore. The rules of the game have changed, especially in season 16, because of home guard. Home guard makes people fly out of the base like 100 miles exactly, bro. And so is vision trinkets, bro. So like, you have to be on your toes on where you're going, because it's not really a jungle tracking is kind of an older tool. It's been updated in season 16 where everybody can jungle track basically effortlessly now. Like, if you're a mid laner, you're gonna ward your chickens. Or if it's the start of the game, the top laner is going to warn you red. Like, people are going to have vision on your jungle. They're going to have sweeper cones in the river. You have to be more creative with with how you gank. That's why champions like Hecarim, Nunu, fucking like Lilia, they're running all over the rift because they have the movement speed to outplay their opponent's thought process. All those extra tools don't apply for them. So,
Yeah.
um,
Just to sum that up, pretty much you, as in low elo, apply chaos as a ladder in your games. Cause chaos for the enemy team so you can start climbing in game, right? Snowballing, but also you'll see gains in your actual LP, right? Other than that, remembering that when you do cause chaos as a ladder, or in general, the game's always going to try to apply the laws of equivalent exchange. Just make sure that you're giving up what you want to give up and not giving up what you don't want to give up. One thing I wanted to add that we didn't necessarily talk about, but I think we should talk about it. When you pretty much apply those two concepts, you're going to be faced with a question. And let me pull it up because I don't want to botch it, okay? Are you rushing or are you dragging? What is your tempo, okay? And I'm going to have Rex explain this, okay? We didn't talk about this at all, but I think this is perfect.
So, rushing and dragging comes from the film Whiplash, which is a famous movie, won a bunch of awards, and it has Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons in it, and it's about a band teacher who teaches, I think, like college level band, and he has like a show to do, but he's very, very aggressive in his teachings. He doesn't just want them to be good, he wants them to be the best there ever was, period. And like, so he kind of is very aggressive with them, and during one of the scenes where he is trying to get the student to perform at his level of like what he wants, he says, are you rushing or are you dragging? And really what that means, and this 100% applies to League of Legends, is are you trying to like slow down the pace of the game, or are you trying to speed up the pace of the game? Really, like if you're playing too aggressive and trying to force things, you need to slow down, right? Or if you're too slow, then you need to speed up. And it's kind of hard to explain, but the best way I can put it in my most recent words is, am I playing League of Legends, am I playing to win the game, or am I playing not to lose? Am I playing not to lose, or am I playing to win? Right? If you're playing not to lose, you might be playing more safe. You might not be taking the risks or the, the things that you should be taking because you're just trying not to int, right? But you can't be trying not to int. You need to be playing to win. You need to be taking the move on the board that is going to win you the game, not what's going to keep your KDA high, because KDA doesn't matter. So like rushing and dragging can really mean a lot of things. Like we see it all the time when we go to fight dragon bot lane, right? Like we show up bot lane for the first dragon. You can't sometimes let's rush it, right? We see her top side free. Or let's drag it out because we already saw Briar there. We see the Brand warding the jungler already. We saw Katarina quick rotate. You know what I mean? Like with all three of their bodies converging on the objective before I even have a chance to walk out of Tribush, it kind of goes to show you got to slow the play down. You don't have a chance to like run in there and fucking make something happen. You have to wait. You know what I mean? So, I love the references today, by the way. We've referenced Game of Thrones, we've referenced A Law of Equivalent Exchange, which is Full Metal Alchemist, and we've referenced Are You Rushing or Are You Dragging, which is Whiplash. So any homework for the community that is enjoying the podcast, go check out Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, go check out Game of Thrones, and go check out Whiplash, because they're all fantastic in their own right. As we finish up the podcast here, we have a few more things to talk about. Let's see here. Let me check my notes real quick. Okay, so we talked about Chaos as a jungler. We kind of talked about our myths and our bans again. Let's just go over that one more time, okay, War Turtle? So my myth is that I don't think the 3-camp clear is viable. Maybe it's just not viable for Volibear. Maybe it's not viable for Jake, for Rhexis, for my playstyle. But I just don't think that like killing 3 camps, reset, like smiting red, starting chicken, smite red, go to Krugs, take Krugs, reset immediately. If you don't buy a potion, you have over 400 gold. You can buy an item for $400. On Volibear, that's either a ruby crystal or boots. Realistically, you want blasting one, you want sheen, and those are $800 to $900 items. You don't get $800 to $900 unless you full clear your jungle. So backing and getting a ruby crystal actually sets me back $400. I really don't think 3 camp clear is applicable because of Volibear's build path. I mean, I could go boots, I could go Darksteel, so maybe I could twist it. But that's my myth in jungle, is that I would recommend full clearing so that you can use those extra seconds to do what you want to do, rather than attempting to make plays off 3 camps, making a mistake, and then being down in camps, or at worst, getting invaded. That's the fucking worst. When you go... worse feeling than that, bro, because then what are you supposed to do? You're going to try to contest him at scuttle down a level? You're going to try to path through the mid when mid's already like out of position and not down to help, or go to the other scuttle where he can do so much with that time, bro. It's really, really rough. So I think as a Volibear, you do it the other way around. What's your myth as an ADC this week, War Turtle?
My myth is the whole concept that ADC goes mid after 15 minutes or after your turret goes down. Ideally, yes, you want to go mid as an ADC. If your mid laner does not give you mid, you do not want to be mid necessarily. That being said, you got to talk to your mid laner, bro. You can't just be like, oh, he's not moving, like, no. If they don't move, then, and after you try to get them to leave mid lane at an appropriate time, right? Then you have to go bot, dude. You have to go back to bot, and you have to keep solo farming. Not by yourself necessarily, right? But if your support there, then that's perfect. But if they're not there, then ideally you should be going to the lane where no one is at, and your support is you. Okay, so your support doesn't count. Okay,
Yeah.
but all that being said, mid laners, you gotta give bot your mid lane. You
You gotta
have
get
to
the
drop
fuck
it.
out of mid. You're taking
You
up
gotta
all
get the
our
fuck out
time
of
and
mid, dude.
messing up my time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
I feel that,
Every
dude. I've seen
single
that in
mid laner,
so many
honestly,
games,
dude.
bro. I've seen that in so many
Every
games.
single mid laner, they have no excuses, honestly. Like if you're playing Syndra, you gotta go bot. You know, like you have the CC to leave. You know,
Um,
your ADCs don't have shit. You know, like they're gonna even if your ADC tries to kite their way out, they're gonna die. Like
I have a bonus.
that, they're just not gonna make it.
I have a bonus myth, and that myth is mute all. And this is a controversial one. I think it's beneficial to do 3 steps. Step 1, you don't mute all so that you can communicate with your teammates properly. Step 2, if they are over pinging you, translate it. You can speak monkey. Just think about why they're pinging you so much. If it's something you can actually help with, like maybe they just need that one gank and it's actually applicable. Their flash is down, they're low health, they use their R. Sometimes your teammates are spamming you for a reason. So try to translate the pings. And step 3 is if it's not translatable, you just go and mute them. It takes 1 second in your game, and otherwise you'll actually be able to have some people that might be able to help you win games. You know what I mean? Sometimes positive mental attitude, being like, hey, good job at that kill, will make a teammate play even better. You know what I mean? Or saying, hey, can we take this over that? Or can we group? Those are just saying the word group has won me so many games, bro. And secret 4th step is when you take objectives or when you're ganking a lane, War Turtle, tell them what we do now every single time I go to gank your lane. When I'm on Gromp, basically every single Gromp I've ever taken in our ranked games, what do we do?
Pretty much what we end up doing is, as an ADC, you want to try to freeze lane, you know, or have the wave close to you, right? Because how are you gonna ask for a gank when they're under turret?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. I walk away, I'm like, you're dumb.
Yeah,
I don't
even
tower
and
dive.
we're talking about a volleyball. Sorry, did I say volleyball?
Volley
We're
Bear, a
talking
guy
about
who can freeze tower.
we're talking about a volley bear, you know, player, right? Like even as a volley bear player, we cannot like expect our volley bear to make such a huge play like that. Like not that they can't do it. It's just so risky and so unnecessary. Like that's bringing chaos literally to us, you know, just
Yeah.
by thinking about it. Like no, like you have to be like if you want to gank, you have to like be under turret, you
So
know, or
freeze
get them in
wave
a
under
position where
turret
you can go,
for the most part. And then what do?
or have them low enough so you can actually dive them.
Once it's
Freeze lane under turret,
and then
go
what
to
do
the
you
same
do?
champion.
Yeah, but what do you do
And
to
then
you ping the fuck
I
out of
ping.
me.
I ping
So
you.
War Turtle
When
goes
I
ping,
ping
ping,
you,
ping, ping, ping on my grubs, and then you know what I do? I go on my way, on my way, on my way, on my way. If they have muted us, but they haven't muted our pings, our teammates know that we are like chirping to each other that this play is going down. So I finish
Yeah.
Gromp, I walk to the bush, the support already has it warded, we wait a second. If they step up to last hit, you curl around the corner, and you usually Q and stun whoever the closest person is. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's better to hit the ADC, but 99% of the time, the support is hovering
closest.
topside towards the river. So the support usually gets caught. I can see it in my head. Nautilus's, Zyra's, Lulu's, I've done it to them all, bro. So...
Yeah.
That is
But
something you can
what
do is
we have
ping
noticed-
ping to people, you know.
And what we have learned is that we do have to critically think, you know, at least just a little bit, you know, just a little bit. You know, if they have a Draven, Janna, you probably don't want to be fighting the Janna. You know, you probably want to be hitting the Draven.
Yeah, exactly. And
That's
you need
something
to
we have learned.
also, that's the first thing I do when I run into that lane in my queue is I'm timing my queue so that I have more time to run on all 4 legs, because if you use it too soon, it runs out after 8 seconds. So if you don't, you know, if it's longer than 8 seconds to close that gap, you want to use it a little bit later. I like to use it last second depending on what the support has. So if it's, you said Janna, right? If Janna throws her NATO at me, I can run last second, dodge the NATO, run around it, and stun her every time. Or you've seen me do it countless times with Lux, bro. I've gotten so good at faking out Lux Q for Volleybear Q every time, bro. It's so fun to do. You gotta remember that with all champions that have movement speed abilities. Like, you activate that bit of movement speed and point in the direction that isn't the skill shot, you're almost every time gonna dodge it, bro. Unless it's like a fucking knot hook that has giant wide range. All right. You got one last myth?
I got one last myth.
All right. And then we'll talk a little bit about patch notes, our schedule update, and we'll be done with our second episode, buddy. Good podcast.
Yeah, that's just pretty good. I guess the last myth, I definitely forgot about. So we can just talk about the patch notes while I remember.
Oh, okay. You think about the
my bad.
No worries, dude. Let me see here. So, we just want to talk quickly about the patch notes. So if you look, they buffed a bunch of junglers, and I would say that it's been out for a week now, and I haven't noticed any of these champions played in the jungle. So I don't know what the fuck
Yeah.
Riot's doing. Like the majority of my games in the jungle, I'm fighting like, I'm usually fighting my counters. People are counter picking, so Jax, Briar, which is maybe why I've gotten so good at beating them. Other notes in the patch notes is like that maybe not this patch notes, but next week or next patch notes or whatever it is, 26.5, we're getting Volibear buffs to his AP ratios, his E cooldown, and his Q AD ratio are all going up. Like, I don't know why they're triple buffing Volibear, but I'm all for it, brother. let's ride. We ride at fucking sunset, boys. Like, that's just gonna be awesome. Did you remember your tip?
I do not, so we're gonna have to leave it as a cliffhanger.
Ooh, next week, boys. Who knows? So, any notes you have on the patch notes, War Turtle?
They nerfed my Jinx, and I haven't felt it.
What did they nerf about her? Do you know?
They reduced her armor, so I guess I am dying more. I guess I would win more first bloods, before.
You do be loving that first blood shit as a support, as an AC. Like, causing chaos as a ladder at the earliest moment convenience is you doing that. My earliest convenience of causing chaos is I will try to ward the opposite buff of the buff that I want to take. So if I want to take blue, I'll ward their red, and if they don't start red, I'll go blue to their red, back into my jungle, clear all my camps or whatever, and then try to get at least one scuttle on the end of it. And it's usually I'm up on them. You know what I mean?
Yep, I'm glad you brought up the support thing. That's literally what it was. So this is my last myth. As an ADC players, all the ADC players out there, remember, your support 99% of the time is gonna be your homie. Okay? You have to just try to figure out what their champion can do, and either let them lead you or you become the leader, but you have to work as a pair and fuck shit up pretty much.
Oh, yeah. I got another bonus myth off of that one, and that's you can't just go into games assuming all your teammates are boosted. They have to earn that. They have to earn the title of Harvard Lab Chimp Experiment, and when they fuck up enough, you get to go, congratulations, buddy, you're boosted, and I'm not ganking you anymore. But they have to earn that role. You cannot just give it to everybody in League. You have to trust somebody to win games. You cannot. We've tried very hard to 2v5, and it's not always applicable. You win sometimes, but not every game. You have to rely on at least one other teammate, whether it's the support, the mid, or the top. It's a fucking who's who. It's a game of Clue to figure out who you can trust and who's the murderer. So that's up to you guys. That's our last tip of the night for the second episode of the podcast.
And your supports are usually down bitches.
Hell
so you
yeah.
gotta play with them.
Down bitches. I love it. Don't forget to tune in, guys, to next week. We are going to be doing the third episode of the Bronze Breakdown podcast. We did one episode a month ago, and we worked really hard to get our schedule in order so that we could hopefully do these weekly for you guys. And so we will be back next week, and the episode should be a little bit shorter. So we went from like an hour to like 40 or 30 minutes. So it should be about 35 minutes. For this week's episode. So much love, guys. Thank you again for tuning in to the Bronze Breakdown podcast. That was episode 2, Chaos is a Ladder, in season 16 of League of Legends. I'll see you guys next week. Much love.
Yep. One last thing before you
go ahead, War Turtle.
Before you close us down.
I'll close us down. Yeah.
In the comment section, let us know if you completely disagree with us. We want to know. We want feedback. What do you think is keeping you in bronze, in iron, or in low elo in general? And what has worked for you? What do you think is actually helpful to climb out of low elo?
And War Turtle's giving you guys homework, but I'm going to give you a fun assignment to put in the comments because I'm the fun teacher.
Oh, dear.
Look at my glasses. Look at my beanie, bro. I'm the fun teacher, okay?
He's mathematically correct.
I'm mathematically correct, Rexis, right now. I want you guys to put me in the comment section. Who are you banning the most right now? I'm banning Karthus. Fuck that champion. He is disgusting against Volibear. I can beat Graves. I can beat Jax. I can beat Lilia. I can't beat Karthus, bro. War Turtle, who are you banning right now?
Dude, your homework is actually really easy, bro. My homework's like let's fucking
Analyze the
critically
whole
think,
40 minutes. And mine's
analyze.
like write one champion's name, guys, and you get an S. I'll reply to
You
your
get S plus.
comments with the rank you earned, so you guys can earn an S, an S plus.
I'm banning Nocturne. I hate Nocturne. That's my ban.
Makes sense. ADC Tatum.
At the moment.
All right, that is the end of the podcast. Much love, boys. I will see you guys next week. 3, 2, 1, and we are